Hello, everyone. As you probably would already know if we were still on campus, I'm Tim Cunningham. I'm a freshman at St. John's, and today I decided to make my final speech topic the importance of travel and why you should travel. Now, traveling could be considered anything when you go from one place to another. However, in my opinion, it's more than just that. It's not just like if someone was to go from one house to another down the street, like that's not the type of travel I'm talking about. I'm talking about like travel where someone goes from like their hometown to another state, country, and goes like many hours from their original place in order to visit a new place, a new area, and explore it. And in my opinion, there's three big reasons why you should travel, and those three reasons are the experiences, the memories, and then the culture you learn. So, for one, like the experiences you gain when traveling, like when you go and you travel to different countries and stuff, you start to like learn different things and like learn how to handle different like problems and like occurrences. So like for example, my family, we went one year, we went to Spain, and while we were in Spain we were visiting a castle in Malaga, I believe. And while we were there, everything was getting closed up, and this is again in Spain, and we aren't exactly the best at speaking Spanish. And everything was being closed up for the castle for the day. And lo and behold, my youngest brother decided to disappear all of a sudden. And we were all thinking, well, where could Matthew be? Because Matthew is our youngest. He was only at the time in middle school, and he doesn't speak any Spanish. So we were kind of like worried about where he could have gone, because there's no way he would have understood anything, being that he doesn't speak the language of the country we were in. With that, like we had to like figure out ways to communicate with the people at the castle, like the employees that worked there, and figure out a solution into getting him and finding him, which in the end he ended up finding his way back to the car, and so we ended up finding him there. The second one is the memories you make, and again, like for one, the memory of my brother getting lost is an example, but then also like another trip I've been on is our trip to the Grand Canyon, where we decided it was a smart idea to hike from one rim, like the north rim, and hike down into the canyon and then up the south rim on the other side. And on this like 3-day trip, we just kind of spent a lot of time as a family, and just like through the day we'd hike. So it was a lot of focusing on just the process of walking with all the weight on our back from the backpacks and all the food and everything. It was just one thing. It was like you go through all this and you just kind of like not learn, but you just kind of like roll with what you got, and then you end up learning a lot about like your other family members, and then you talk a lot while you're on this, because there's not much else to do when you're in the middle of the woods or in the bottom of a canyon, and all you have for entertainment is the person next to you. And so there's some things about that trip that just have stuck with me. Like for one, we got to a point where we just would not stop making jokes about the types of rocks around us, and just rock jokes. And those were like, at the time, very funny to us, because, well, one, we were hallucinating because we'd been in the canyon for 3 days away from civilization. But two, it's just like the moments and like stuff you remember that you're with your family and you're going through these things. And these are all things that everyone will always look back on and think, oh, that was so much fun when we were here. My third thing is the culture that you start to like pick up on when you're in these places. So like eating the foods of the different like cultures that you've traveled to. So like in Spain, you'll eat like more like the European style of foods that they have because you're over in their culture, and like you're eating Spanish food because they have that there and they're making it, and you get to like immerse yourself in their culture and learn about it. Another trip would have been for us was a Hawaii trip, and in there we went to a luau, which is basically like a little performance kind of thing, but it's a touristy like attraction thing that like shows everything about the Hawaiian culture, and like they serve you the food that you like that you would find typical in that area. Like if you were a native, it was those kinds of foods are the kinds of foods that you see and like eat and like have on a daily basis. And in Hawaii, a lot of it's like different types of fish, fruits, like citrus, different stuff you'd find on that island, on those islands. And honestly, like all of those things, like those 3 trips that I quickly like mentioned, of all of them, they just like help you become like the person who you want to become, and you end up learning and becoming more diverse and becoming more well-rounded as a person. Whereas someone who will have not left a country or left a specific area won't know as much, or won't necessarily have been in the position to like understand and learn about different like cultures and experience different like places and make different memories with like their family or something, because they didn't end up going on these trips, and instead they stayed at their own house and did nothing other than go online and watch videos.